Hey yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. Well, I've got another poker recap video. Was able to go and hit up the $140 no limit nightly tournament over at Casino Arizona this past Wednesday. It was my boy Frankie's birthday. I think I mentioned him a few times, one of my poker buddies. So I wanted to get a few people together and go hit up at 7 p.m. and see how it went. So myself, my boy Bill, I've talked about a few times on here, and as well as my boy Frankie went over there and hit up at 7 p.m. It's actually a decent tournament over at Casino Arizona. Talking Stick is what it's now called. It's the Casino Arizona located off of Indian Bend and the 101 over here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Definitely the best casino we have in Arizona. In terms of its size and its games that are spread, it really is pretty close to a Vegas casino. And it's amazing inside. They finally got rid of the tents and built a nice resort. And I mean, legit, it's a nice resort. It's nicer than a lot of the places I've stayed in Vegas, to be quite honest. The rooms are on point. It's it used to be the third biggest poker room in the country. I know it's minimized that a little bit now that they've built the entire structure. Back when it was just the tents, they had like, they were like 100 tables or something ridiculous. But 7 p.m. it's actually $130 plus a $10 add-on. $130 gets you 5,000 tournament chips. So the add-on of $10 gets you another 2,500. So you're a moron not to do it. Blinds are 15-minute blind, or I'm sorry, 20-minute blind rounds starting at $25.50. So pretty decent in terms of the blind rounds, the blind structure. I will say that it does start to double a little quicker than I would like. But pretty standard for a Native American casino. I'm not sure what the breakdown is in terms of how much of the buy-in actually goes to the prize pool or not. Native American casinos are notorious for taking a lot more of the cut than they really should. But they know people will keep coming because, hey, where else are we going to play poker? Online shut down, and you know the mom and pop shops pop up and shut down every other week. So this is really your only for sure place to go play some cards. So I'm really not sure what the breakdown is, but I'm sure it's something horrible. Ended up being 160 players, or 155 players, which is, from what I remember, is about standard. I haven't played the Wednesday tournament in a very long time, but from what I remember, that's about standard, maybe even a few more than usual. Ended up, prize pool, first place was like 4,300, 4,400, I believe. Second place was like 3,800 and went down from there. Paid out 16 places. So I guess there was 160 people. Ended up pretty early on. Was just kind of maintaining, grinding out some decent poker. And just worked my way up. Cracked a pretty big hand. After I was playing pretty conservatively in the first few rounds. Mucking a lot of hands that usually I would play if it was a smaller tournament or if it was more of a friendly game. A lot of like ace-9 type of hands that, you know, if I was in, depending on the position, I'm always going to play. But, you know, I was catching them in like under the gun, so I would fold, or, you know, in middle position after a raise and a call, you know, or big blind after a raise, a call, a re-raise, you know, just some crazy stuff that I was just in bad positions for a lot of the hands that I was getting. A couple times I got an ace-10 one time that I ended up mucking. Actually, I'll talk about that later on in kind of the breakdown section. But really the hand that really helped me was I spiked a set, and the person that I was up against rivered a 2-pair. So I actually doubled up to about 12 grand after that pot. But then just made a couple bets I shouldn't have, that got either bet out on the turn, re-raised pre-flop. Some hands that I maybe shouldn't have been involved in the first place, and then made a very bad call with ace-queen against ace-king. And it was actually the person that I doubled up with the set against when she got 2-pair on the river, which is a hand I'll go actually into detail after I do this kind of wrap-up section. But she had been shoving nonstop. She got down to pretty low in terms of big blinds, probably 10 big blinds, maybe even less than that. But she just started insta-shoving. I mean, probably like 5 or 6 hands in a row just shoving. Then she took like a few hands off from shoving, and then next thing you know, she's back to shoving. So she shoves, and everybody folds around to me. And I made a couple mistakes with the play. First off, without even really looking to see how many chips she had, I pretty much just shoved on top of her. And mind you, like I said, I've got probably close to 13,000 chips at this point, where I could have easily gotten away from Ace Queen, easily. Especially when there wasn't any action behind me. Actually, I was the big blind. There was no action behind me, so that was part of the. Well, no, actually there was. I'm sorry, I wasn't a big blind. I was a button. I was button because the blinds were after me. That's why I shoved. Was just trying to get, make sure that. I don't know. I guess I could have been alright if a couple people would have called, but then there's going to be a side pot, and then what do? You have to deal with are these people going to respect tournament etiquette and check down to get the player out, or are they going to bet at it simply because there's a side pot? So I ended up raising, hoping that nobody would stay in, and nobody did. But she flipped over Ace King, and I called incredibly light. But the reason I called so light is because I really felt that she was shoving light. Excuse me. I guess I should have gone to bed. Playing poker took a lot out of me. But I really felt that she had been shoving light. I just felt like she couldn't have been catching that many good hands. And she thought she was dead the way that I shoved in there. That I re-raised. She thought that I had kings or, an ace-king type of hand, or else, a queens, jacks raise, which I wish I would have had. But, and I even told her, I'm like, I thought you shoved light. I legit called because I thought you shoved light. So, it is what it is. But that hand really hurt me, and that took me down to about $6,000. Pretty much flip-flopped from where I was originally. Then had a couple more hands that I raised, raised on the flop, took it down. Then the next pot, raised, got re-raised out of it. The next flop, call will raise, next hand, call will raise. He bets out on the flop, I fold. So next thing I know, I'm down to about $4,000 in chips, and then I ended up picking up King Queen suited and shoved. At this point, we had just come back from break. The blinds were 200, 400, and I had about 4,000 left in chips. So, at this point, my M, is like 7. So any two face cards, as long as you're first in, is pretty good. So I shoved. Ended up, guy went all in blind because he had so few chips left. And by so few, I mean he had like probably close to 2,000. Well, probably like 1,800. He has 7 deuce, mind you. And turn hits a 7, river hits a deuce. So that kind of hurt. Oh yeah, and mind you, I forgot to mention, that was after I spiked a queen on the flop. Queen was in the window, and he goes 7 deuce on me. So, I mean, it wasn't a huge pot, but now, next thing I know, now I'm down to about 20, or now about 4,200 or so. 4,500, somewhere around there. And so I pick up like probably 3 hands. No, actually, I think it was the very next hand, because I was going to be blinds within 2 hands. Picked up 10-9 suited, and I shoved. I got called by Ace King. And, so I don't hate it. I've got 2 live cards. I'm, even then, worst case scenario, I'm like 70-30. 65-35. I mean, it isn't that bad because he wasn't suited. I was suited. I was suited of hearts, and he was, I think, diamond and spade. It was Ace King, and so the flop came up. This is my night, right? Flop comes up, Jack 10-9. Beautiful. I've got bottom 2 pair. Let's boat me up. Let's end it right now. No queen. That's all I'm telling myself. No queen. Alright, so turn card, he hits a king. Okay, I can deal with that. No queen, we're good, right? No queen, no king, no ace. So it went from, 4 outs to now, 11 outs. So definitely some more cards I had to fade. And, well, actually, technically, Jack as well, but whatever. So I had those outs to it as well. So I was in trouble. I was drawing thin. But he didn't hit any of those. He hit another ace. Or he hit an ace. So he got a better 2 pair. Runner, again. Back-to-back all in hands. Went runner. So I ended up getting knocked out in about 60th place. 55th place. Somewhere around there. got knocked out about 10 o'clock. So it was a decent tournament. I mean, or maybe it was like 9:30 actually, because by the time I think I left the casino, it was about 10 after saying my goodbyes and walking around for a little while. So it was a good tournament. It felt good getting back out there. I really do like the $140 tournament, and I will be playing it again because you really do get to play some good poker, as opposed to, you know, tournaments like the $10 rebuy out at the Fort, which are just lottery tickets. I mean, that isn't real poker. This was at least real poker. So it was nice to get out there and get on the felt, and, you know, it felt good. So that was definitely nice. Hopefully within the next week or two, I'm going to start hitting up that Wednesday pretty much weekly. Try to get some good footing, trying to build up for before the World Series, and all the big changes that are hopefully happening for that. So overall, I felt like it was a decent tournament. I was decently happy with my performance other than one mistake. And I really felt like I was changing gears very well up to that point. So that's why I was kind of pissed off, because I really felt like I was playing well enough that I could have, you know, really made a decent run at it. Problem is that when I'm not out playing consistently, which sadly I haven't been doing, this is what happens. You don't play consistently, you make bad plays. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's not rocket science here. So I really got to start playing more and practice. So at the end of the day, I think it was 140 bucks, decently spent out of the bankroll, and I'm all right with it. Just planning on building up more and more, and hopefully winning some events rather than dropping 140 on Ace Queen to Ace King. Because that's essentially what I did. I essentially blew. I had a $140 hand. Which, if I'm sitting at a 2-3 cash table or a 3-5 cash table, shit, I'd be lucky if I only spent 140 bucks on a Ace Queen versus Ace King. So I guess at the end of the day, it's not that bad. But that's pretty much my wrap up. I did want to go back and discuss the hand that I doubled up on. And so anybody who's done listening now, go ahead and sign off. There's only a couple hands that I'm even going to go over today, so there really weren't that many hands that I even played, short of the ones that I kind of overlooked, or overviewed, I mean, already. So just wanted to discuss that one hand and kind of what led up to it. I've been playing pretty well. I've been playing rather conservatively, not raising a ton. But when I did raise, if I wasn't having to show down, and there were a couple times that I did show, just to show, you know, that I was actually, like, I raised with pocket jacks, nobody called, I showed them. I raised with pocket tens, nobody called, I showed them. So then comes around to the, actually a hand before then, I pick up ace 10 on the button. I'm sorry, under the gun. And mind you, I've been mucking pretty much any ace 9 suited, you know, ace 10 type of hand, early position, but I decided, you know what, I've been opening up, I've been being a little bit more aggressive over the last few rounds, and I decided that I was going to at least open it up for a decent raise. So I opened it up for a little bit of a raise, probably 3.5 times. It's folded all the way around to the big blind, and he raises me like pretty much a 2,000 on top, and ended up, I let that one go. I just showed him the ace 10, and I said, I assume your kicker's better than mine. Had another hand where I picked up Queen 10 on the button, and it had folded around to me. I made a small raise, probably 2.5, 3 times big blind. Small blind calls, big blind call. I'm sorry, small blind folds, big blind calls. Flop comes up, Queen 5-4, rainbow. So I'm sitting on top pair, feeling pretty good, whatever. So he checks to me. I throw a standard continuation bet in there, about 2/3 of the pot. He raises me. I think he raised me $1,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even a little bit more than that, because I believe that I bet like 600. Yeah, and I think he made it an additional 1,200. He made it to 1,800, and almost instantly, I just thought about it for a second, and then I shoved. And he thought about it for a little bit. He thought about it for a little bit, and I wasn't putting him on a queen. Honestly, I was putting him on an ace-king type of hand, and rather than see a couple more cards come out, I just wanted to end it then. And he thought about it for a while, and ended up telling me that, and the one thing that was good is I had him out chipped. So that was one thing that I thought was really good, is when he asked for a count, he even said, oh, I'd be out, or you'd have me covered. So I really felt that was a pretty solid advantage that I had, a good tactical advantage. And he ended up saying that he mucked ace-queen. He didn't show me anything, but he said that he mucked top pair, top kicker. And he said, I know you had aces or kings. Must have been aces or kings. Definitely aces or kings. So I didn't tell him anything for a second. And then I showed him my queen 10. And he seemed pissed, so we might have had ace-queen. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think he was that great of a player. He ended up busting out pretty soon after that. I was really just kind of hoping to rile him up a little bit if he did have ace-queen, just on the off chance he actually did, you know, show the bluff. Sometimes it'll work for that. Sadly, he ended up getting knocked out before I really could do anything more to him. But that hand built me up pretty much up to about 6,500 or so. And that's when I picked up pocket fours on the big blind, either small blind or big blind. It had been a call, like under the gun +2, and then cutoff. No, I'm sorry, one before cutoff, it all called. Cutoff was the only girl, well, I'm not sorry, not the only girl at the table. There were 3 women at the table, but she was the youngest of the women at the table. And she put in a decent-sized raise. Probably 4 times big blind, and I already had a small blind in there, and I really felt like my set was going to hit. And I looked down at pocket fours, club heart. So I don't know why, I just felt that it was going to hit. So I end up calling, one other person calls, flop comes up, king, queen, 4, rainbow. I feel beautiful, right? This is Yahtzee. This is what I was aiming for. So I check. Cutoff checks. I'm sorry, under the gun checks. And if I'm not mistaken, the other 2 people had folded, so now it went to cutoff. She bets. Pretty decent sized bet. I Hollywooded for a little bit, and then, alright, I call. So I call, whatever. I don't know what she puts me on. I'm praying she has ace-king. Praying she has ace-king or ace-queen. That's what I'm banking on. Hoping more that she has ace-king, so she really feels solid about that king and isn't really worried. Guy in the cutoff folds, turn card hits, another blank. Alright, perfect. You know, this was like a deuce, I believe. Feeling good, definitely feeling good. End up checking again, playing real trappy. So she ends up betting. Now this time, like, the last bet was a, you know, get the F out of here bet. This one was a real, this is my pot, you're done. And she bet like damn near 2 grand if I'm not mistaken. And I called, river card hit an ace. So now, yeah, I got to worry about a jack 10 for the straight, but really I'm not, if you're betting out that entire, you know, way, I could see that. You know, if you flop the gut shot, I mean, I'm sorry, the open-ender, I could see that, but I just didn't feel it, to be quite honest. Honestly, if I would have raised on the flop, maybe I would have had a little bit better idea where I was at, but, sorry, I'm sure that whoever that viewer was who says that I'm exhausting will say, see, this is further evidence, he's exhausting himself. But I might have missed a bet, to be quite honest, but, on the river, she ended up making another really big bet that damn near put me all in. And I ended up not shoving for the rest of my stack. It was probably another like 800 more. Just because I you know, was holding off on the slim chance that my feeling was wrong and she did have jack 10. Then at least I've got, you know, a few chips in the chair. So I ended up, as soon as I called, she said 2 pair. Before I could even turn over my card, she flipped over ace queen. And so the river really helped me. Her hitting that ace on the river made her want to fire another bullet in there, because she could have felt that, you know, maybe I hit the king on the flop and, you know, therefore would have had her done, but with her hitting that on the river really did help. So I ended up showing her the set and took it down to a chorus of, oh, nice hand, so that was cool. And that got me up to about chip lead for the table, and sadly it was about 20 hands later that I made my misstep with ace king, or with ace queen versus ace king, and that was about it. So those are really the only major hands. Everything else was pretty standard poker. So those are the 2 hands that I wanted to go over and kind of highlight. I do think that maybe I missed a bet playing as trappy as I did. I really got the feeling that she was just trying to run over me in that hand when I did flop the set. And so I did play the meek, you know, intimidated character a little bit. And yeah, that might have cost me a bet. I'm not really sure at the end of the day. I mean, I probably could have shoved for the rest of my money on the river, and I'm sure she would have paid me off for how little it was. But at that point, the risk to reward wasn't really worth it to me. It was kind of that thought process of, you know, yeah, if 2 pairs she's going to call, that's true. But if she does somehow have, you know, the straight or a set of kings, queens, deuces, or aces on the river, the only hands that can really call me are going to be beating me. So yeah, if she would have had 2 pairs, she would have called me. But 1 pair in that situation, if she just has the queen on the river, I don't think she calls if I shove the rest of it. I mean, maybe with pot odds, whatever. But if I had any more chips than that, I don't think she would have. So maybe I missed a bet, maybe I didn't. But at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. I felt alright. So overall, let me know what you guys think. Do you think I missed a bet? Should I have raised on the flop or on the turn rather than playing trappy? I really wish I could have videotaped the hand so you could have seen the way that she was betting, because she was betting very aggressively, really trying to run the action. So I felt that by playing it timidly, it would pay off. And, well, it paid off pretty well. So, I don't know. I don't know if I missed a bet or not. I'm curious what you guys think. So, as always, I am Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. That is another poker recap and hand analysis. This time from the $140 No Limit Texas Hold'em Tournament at Casino Arizona Talking Stick out here in the lovely Scottsdale, Arizona. So, as always, thank you Thank you very much for checking out all of my videos. I really do appreciate it. I wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you as always for the continued support and constant new people subscribing and liking my videos. Definitely appreciate it. Stay tuned. I'm telling you, things are going to be changing a lot in my life here in the next few months, and I want you guys to be around to see it. We're going to get to a point where I'm probably going to be uploading videos every single day, probably from the World Series of Poker every single day. It's a little teaser. It's a little teaser snippet right here. So got some news that it's probably going to end up being pretty cool. So I wanted to let you guys know a little bit. I will keep you guys informed as the days get nearer and I actually know for sure what's going on. But until the next video, thank you as always for checking out all my videos. Much appreciated. To everybody out there checking out MatthewMaley.com, checking out the video blog page and seeing everything listed there. I really appreciate it. To all y'all who watch up on up on YouTube, as always, of course, you know, check me out. Search for Matthew Maley Poker on YouTube. You can see all the brand new videos, new releases, all that stuff popping up, as well as like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can be the first one to find out about all my new videos. As always, you can like your boy's page up on Facebook. You can actually, if you'd like, view all my videos on Facebook as well. I'm actually going to go through and start uploading videos directly to Facebook. So if you're familiar with just watching stuff on Facebook, everything will be embedded on Matthew Maley Poker Facebook page. So you'll have everything embedded there directly. And of course, you can check me out on Twitter at Matthew Maley. Follow your boy. Always posting stuff up on there. So always keep, you know, tabs on me for all the newest shoe news, all the newest movie reviews, and of course, sports. So, till the next video, I'm officially signing off. It is Wednesday night. I gotta take my ass to bed. I gotta work tomorrow. So I am signing off until the next video. Stay up. Peace, y'all.